Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday. It's November 6th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and I don't know what to say about this day other than it's just straight up. I mean, we went from around the midline to well oversold in one day. I mean, it's a huge rally. I don't even know how big that overall day is. If you just go from the close yesterday to the close today, it's about 150 points. So big rally. Obviously, the markets like the election news. Um, were there any surprises? Not really. I mean, I guess the only surprise is that if you'd read any of the media in the U.S., Trump had no chance. He was completely. I mean, if you read the media, Harris and Waltz had this wrapped up. It was just going to be a skip in the park, and like usual, they lied to us. Just bold faced, flat out lied. You can't believe anything in the media in the U.S. anymore. Um, it's all Democratic controlled, and they just lie. And I think the American people proved that last night with the landslide win by Trump, when everything you read said that Trump didn't have any chance at all, and then it was over for Trump. And so the man's got more lives than a cat, and he's still alive, and he's going to be the president for the next 4 years. So we'll see where that goes. But obviously the markets liked it, and yeah, we had a huge rally. You can see it right there. But let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart and just see what it looked like in real time and as the day progressed. Pretty impressive actually. And here's a look at it. Let me get these crosshairs off there. You can see we had two legs up, and then we corrected a little bit. Um, I'm not sure if I have this channel right. I believe it's right. It's possible that this was the channel. It does fit there, and then that creates an overshoot here, which led to a reversal because we got a break up here, but we never got a retest of the lows, and that's a pretty. I mean, it's not a real strong downtrend. It's mostly flat and sideways here, but it is a downtrend. And so you would expect a retest of this low. I mean, nothing's ever 100% in the market, so I could have had it right to begin with, and we just didn't get a retest. But looking at it after the fact, I believe this is correct, and we had a big overshoot here, and the market just reversed. They did try, we did get the break here, and they attempted a retest, and there's just way too much buying, and off it goes to the upside again. But yeah, pretty impressive rally. Most of it came in the overnight. I mean, really from this high to where we ended up, I don't even know how much that was. Let's just see. I mean, that's only less than maybe 14 points. So when you look at it like that, the main trading day was not very strong. So, and there is a flatter channel here, but it doesn't really help. You're better off to play these other channels. But I believe there's another channel here that comes across here like so. But again, it might, you can see the midline coming into play, and you can see it. I don't think it really helps you. I think you have to draw these others. So whether or not you had this or not, it might have helped you with this entry right here, and that's about it. Um, in that case, you would have confirmed your trend line here. Maybe that goes from green to blue right there. I mean, it was close to being blue anyway. So, but let's zoom in here. We'll go through the trades. For such a strong day, again, most of the move came before the market ever opened, and then we trended down. We did leave a big gap on the chart, which you can see we opened. We opened exactly where we closed today. It looks like so we opened up here, and this is where we closed yesterday, and then we closed up here where we opened. So interesting day, really. There's clearly two legs up here in the overnight. We got a little more than a measured move up. and we sold off. We actually went sideways a bit, and that's because the market's so strong. And then we did sell off a little bit before we reversed, and I do believe this is an overshoot. Looking at it after the fact, doesn't change it much if you draw it the way I did, other than you would have been looking for a retest when we were moving lower here. But when we bottomed out and reversed, you just got to draw your channel, and when it's confirmed, you go with it. So it is what it is. But I do believe we had an overshoot here that led to the reversal. But let's zoom in here. 7 o'clock came just as we're pushing up here, I believe, if I remember right. Maybe it was just as we're coming down. Yep, just as we topped out up here and we're coming down. 7 o'clock occurred right in here. We came back again and we trended down, and I just didn't see anything I really liked there, and we bounced down here and got a higher low. And you can see there was kind of it looked like maybe there was a midline or something, some kind of support resistance across there. We had some previous support right here. I just like that as a higher low to take it back to the EMA. Hoping we get another, a chance to go short here and retest these lows, but it ended up pushing. Once we got the break and then 2 legs up, then we came down and made a retest of the low, and then we got back in the channel and kept working sideways. I like this short. It's a little aggressive. I mean, we turned down right at the midline, and notice you got your close outside and 2 fairly measured legs up, and we couldn't. Even though we pushed through the midline, we couldn't close above it. So you're just trying to ride it back to the EMA, and maybe we get a retest of the low, and maybe you get more out of it. So that turns out it's a little aggressive. You probably want a lower high here, and we just don't get one. And then you pretty much get a repeat here. You get 2 legs up. You get a little failed breakout. I didn't like this one because it's a little too congested, but honestly, if you could want to be a little aggressive, you could go along there, because the odds are we're going to snap back at least to the EMA, and we may get back in the range and go higher again, which is what happens. But this is the better place to enter. It's a higher low. Normally I'd tell you this is moved too far, but we're just getting right back inside the range, and so I think you're fine to go long there. I like going long there. And then you got a second entry short right at the midline again. And you do have a close outside a new high. The only reason I made this one green was because it's not a very good signal bar, but it's low risk. It's 8 ticks. And it is a second entry, and everything's played out here, and we've got some proven support and resistance right there at that midline. So maybe you try to ride that back. Again, it's a little aggressive. We didn't quite get the retest of the low, so we're still thinking short here at this point. So I don't think you want to go long right there necessarily. And then we're just stuck in this real tight trading range, and I don't see anything I like until we get this little failed breakout that closes back inside, and you got plenty of room back to this low and this low. So I like going short there. Now you don't know that it's going to break loose and go rocketing down like that. So this turns out to be a really nice move. If you use runners, you probably got a big runner here, and that might have been all you needed for the day. Close outside, move to a new low, and I don't see anything in here I like going short on, and you can't go long in here. And so then we get the break, new low, and then we're just chopping sideways, and I don't see anything in here you can trade. You get a little failed breakout, and there's a second entry short there, but this is your signal bar, and you can't go short there. And it doesn't go very far and fails, and then gives you a higher low. I like going long on that one. It's not a perfect signal bar. I still think it closes close enough to be in the upper 1/3 of that bar. So I think you're okay to go long there. The problem is we're just been in this is just a big move down, but we do have the breakout close outside at least 2 legs down. So you're looking for a reverse. If you're a good chart reader, maybe you go long there. Turns out to be a pretty good move up, and then we get a close outside, and we try to make a new high, but it turns down, close outside the khaki, new low, and you get a second entry long here. Now this might have been hard to get in because it gaps over and it never fills. There's like a tick or two. Let's see exactly. I think there's 2 ticks in that gap if I remember right. Well, maybe it's just a tick. Yeah, I guess it's just one tick. But usually it'll close there and open there and then take off and you won't get any overlap. But not only do you not have any overlap on this bar, you got a spare tick in there. And they tried to come back and fill that little gap and couldn't. That's telling you the market's really strong. Now there's not a good entry after that really there, but that's telling you there's a lot of buying coming in for it to gap like that and not be able to fill it because usually they'll come back and fill that. Um, but I like entering long here anyway on this second entry. This is just sideways stuff, so you got first entry, second entry. If you could get in that, and it did give you several chances to get in, you may not have got in at the regular entry point, one tick above this bar, but you probably could have got filled on that if you wanted to get filled. Uh, so it takes off, and you do get a second entry here, but no real good setup. Nothing there. There's just nothing all the way up here. It's just first entries all the way up, and we do get a close outside, a lower. Actually, we don't really get a close outside. We trades outside, but it never really closes, and so you can't really. You're not really looking for a short in here yet. Although this is the first break of the trend line, so we could go lower. But when it tries to go higher once, twice, and test that one time, so now this is just a double top. So this is a failed second entry long. I like going short right off the key entry point there. Um, it's a pretty nice trade. You probably get a runner here most likely, and it makes a pretty good move down. That's just a first entry there. And then you do make a low and a first, second entry here. It looks a little sideways and congested, but and we already have a low in place. But a lot of times you get two legs down. Um, so if you want to be a little aggressive, that's where you would do it right there on that second entry short. Runs on down, makes another leg down, and then we get a hidden second entry here. I don't think I would trade that. We've already had a break and two legs down. Although we are in a downtrend and we are looking for a retest of the overall lows, so maybe you go short there. Uh, I think you're better off just to sit tight and maybe look for a lower high here or something, because that's not a true second entry. It's just like a hidden second entry. And we run down and we do make another low. But this is basically just a double bottom. And even though we've traded higher and then came back down again, I don't know if you'd call that a triple test. There's not enough space in there. This just looks like acceptance of prices, really. But if it breaks above this, maybe you go long there. Because again, we've got the break and two legs down, and now we've got pretty much got a double bottom there. Uh, there is a higher low here, but again, I don't like that. You might say there's a failure here, but you're not. Even though this is a reversal area, it's not where you're looking for one. So I don't think you want to trade a failed second entry short there either. It turns out to work, but it's just not the right location. We get another second entry here, but you don't want to enter on the engulfing bar, and this bar is not good enough, so you just have to skip that. Takes off. And here you get a first entry and then a second entry. And this is almost a repeat pattern of this right here. It looks very, very similar. You can see that you test it and it comes up and it comes back. So it it looks just like this almost. So I like going long there on a repeat pattern. It comes back here and you for sure get a triple test. Um, the key to it is, do you have enough room to scalp out? And you do. Um, comes back again here, and you get another test, another nice signal bar. I didn't trade this one because this is an uptrend. That's the first close outside. You do have a new high here, and that is a second entry short. It's way away from the EMA, and it's 7 ticks. And it's a perfect. No, this is a first leg of a measured move. So you could take that trade, but I think you're a little early and a little aggressive. It's been mostly uphill, and it looks like we're starting to trend up again, and we're likely to get another leg up. But in the end, we actually get another trend up. So comes down, bounces here, but you're still in this channel, and you don't really get a close outside even here. So I'm nervous. I'm very wary of going long there. It turns out it works, but I think you have to sit tight. And I just didn't see anything all the way up here. Now, by the time it gets to here and it's bouncing, this is where probably any, it looks like a strong trend, so maybe any signal bar that comes back to the key entry point you could take, even probably that. And you're probably going to be okay because it's a strong trend. And you can see how shallow the corrections are. You can see all the stems. It doesn't look it, but it's a really strong trend. And you can tell that because the corrections only go a bar or two. They don't go very deep. Everything that turns off the key entry point turns higher. And so, you can pretty much enter in any of these that you might have even started entering right here. I wouldn't go long up here, but so yeah, I wouldn't enter that one. Maybe here. You don't want to go long up here at the top of the channel, so you'd have to wait on a correction there, and then you get it right here. So, but you get your break here, and you get your close outside, and you get a move to a new low, and then you get a higher low. And I think you do need to wait on the higher low here because this is a first entry, second entry, and you get a new high, so that's a first entry again, and this would be a second entry and a higher low. And it pretty much it somewhat confirms that trend line. It gives you a little space and comes back. So I think that's the better entry. You might enter here because you do have your break and new low, but a lot of times you get two legs back. And this trend line wasn't confirmed at least until here, and I probably wouldn't have really trusted it till here. So maybe you enter there, but you got to be careful with those. Runs up to the midline, comes back, you get another close outside, new low, and here's your signal bar. So there's no setup here, and there's not a reversal or anything. This thing just takes off. And then you get a close outside and a lower high. Being that far away from the EMA, and plus you've got your break of this green one now and a couple of legs up. So maybe you just try to ride that back to the EMA. It's not a perfect entry or anything, but it's a lower high, and prices are still way away from the EMA. And this channel looks very valid, so you might ride that back to, just try to get a ride back to the EMA, and if you get more out of it, great. And then you get your two legs up, and that takes us into 230 and nothing else really. So, so there's some decent trades here today, but as big as this rally was, the trading day itself, we really didn't start rallying again until 9 o'clock. And then it looked like it was going to be more mixed than anything, and then it takes off here again around 10 o'clock or so, 10:15, and we rallied the rest of the day. But really, again, there's only about 13 points difference between the overnight high and the actual high of the day. So there's a big look at it again from a high level. Fairly nice trading day. Definitely a nice rally overall, a nice election rally. So the market tends to like what it's seen so far. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Maybe more of the same. We'll see. But anyway, there's not much else you can say about today. So I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow and wrap up our week. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. And we'll see you next time.